She stood in the doorway of my garage like a magazine ad. Black dress, hair pinned, diamond studs that I paid for. My Ford sat on jack stands, oil pan off. Her German sedan hummed at the curb. She didn't look at me, just at the reflection of herself in the metal cabinet. "Don't wait up," she tossed, already scrolling her iPad. "Where?" I wiped my hands on a shop rag. Routine question. Routine lie. Firm thing. "Clients," she said, moving her finger on the screen on the workbench. Her iPad lit up. "Chase in VIP ready. I'll be waiting." Her reply. "Perfect. He's in the garage like always. He won't notice." A ping from my phone a beat later. Charge from the Ember Room. 4th this month. "Want me to pretend I didn't see that?" I asked. "Want me to pretend I'm not an adult?" She grabbed her clutch. "Don't be dramatic." "So, just clarify," I said. "We're sponsoring your nightlife now." She smiled without warmth. "If you don't like it, divorce me." If I'd known where it was headed, I'd still have done exactly what I did next. I took pictures, screenshots of the iPad, screenshots of the bank app. I texted her, "Have fun burning our money on your buddy." She answered fast. "Don't be ridiculous. I'm with friends at Ember with Chase." That name on my screen was a lever. I pulled it. I called Marco Singh, old friend from high school turned divorce specialist. "I need an emergency separation agreement and a freeze on joint accounts." I said. "You sound calm," Marco replied. "Because I'm done being stupid." We moved fast. He sent over a checklist. I froze the card, changed passwords, enabled the alerts for any attempt. Then I drafted a short clean email to the club manager, Mr. Nolan, from my business account, not the personal one. As of tonight, any charges from Leah Parker are her responsibility. Joint card is suspended. If you have a question, call me. 5 minutes later, my phone rang. "Ethan, Chase Nolan, must be a misunderstanding." "No misunderstanding at all," I said, leaning on the fender. "She's an adult. She can pay. That's not how VIP it is now." He tried a smooth laugh. I didn't mirror it. He hung up first. At 2:17 a.m., the front door shook, heels on hardwood. Then our kitchen lights snapped on like a police interrogation. Leah stormed in, hair undone, lipstick smudged, the perfect mask cracked. "You embarrassed me," she shouted, throwing her clutch on the counter. My card declined in front of everyone. "You told me to divorce you." I slid my phone across the island. Screenshots open. The bank charges lined up like gumballs in a row. I listened. She looked at the screen, then at me. "You went through my iPad." It was open on my bench like a billboard. "This is petty." "What's petty is using our money to impress people who pronounce my city wrong." Her jaw tightened. "We can fix this. We just need to talk." Fixing starts with you stopping the lies, stopping the spending, and stopping the little jokes where my life is background noise, I said. "And you won't be using me as a coat rack while you're out collecting compliments." Her phone buzz. Marco, right on time. "Filing emergency separation in the morning." I let her read it. "What did you do?" she asked, fingers slow. "What you told me to. We live by rules now. Don't do anything rash." I've never been calmer. I rinsed my hands, wiped the sink dry, and went to bed. She stayed at the island staring at the screen. I left my garage light on. She hates that. In the morning, I changed the locks, not out of spite. I texted her the new code and the schedule. She could pick up clothes after work with a friend present. I sent Vivian, her mother, the queen of cool disdain, a short message. Yayla is using firm events as cover for night outings. We're separating. She can call me if she wants facts. I copied Victor Rowe, her managing partner, a man who cares about optics. Your partner is using corporate events to mask personal nightlife. See attached charges and timeline. No op-eds, no adjectives, just receipts. Within an hour. Victor's assistant called. "Mr. Rowe can see you at noon." Perfect, I said. I packed the screenshots, the bank printouts, and a simple one-page summary. Shop orders waited. My foreman Dan could handle them. I locked the garage, put on a clean work shirt, and drove. Victor's office sat high over the river, all glass and chrome. He met me at the door himself, gray suit, careful eyes, a framed law school diploma on the wall, same school Leia liked to mention at dinner parties. "Ethan," he said, shaking my hand with a polite amount of pressure. "This is unexpected." "Everything about this is unexpected," I said, setting a folder on his table. "But you need clarity." He offered coffee. I declined. We sat. "I won't tell you how to run your firm." I opened. "But my wife named your events as cover for a pattern of spending and late nights at a club. The manager's name is Chase. He called me last night when I froze the card." Victor didn't flinch. He scanned the printouts. "I see. She told me, quote, if you don't like it, divorce me." So, I did. We're filing for separation. I'm not asking you to pick sides. I'm advising you her client dinners may not be what the billing says. He kept flipping pages. "I appreciate you coming directly to me. I'm done being a prop," I said, "and I won't have my name attached to her tab." His door opened. His assistant slipped in a note, then vanished. He glanced at it, then slid it face down. "We'll handle our side internally." "Good," I said, standing. "I'll handle mine externally." As I reached for the door, my phone vibrated. "Ela, I was wrong last night. I'm sorry. I won't go to the club again. Can we talk tonight? I can make dinner." Mid-turn. Soft touch right after a hard line. I stared at the text long enough to feel the rope she was throwing. I typed back, "You can pick up clothes at 6 o'clock. Bring someone with you." She replied with a single period. My favorite punctuation in fake peace treaties. When I stepped out of the elevator, the river wind was sharp and clean. I called Chase next. "Let's meet," I said. "Neutral ground." He hesitated. "What for?" Let me pause the story for just a second. If you're still listening, please hit the like button on this video. It really helps YouTube show this story to more people. Thank you so much for the support. Now, let's get back to the story. You know what? 4. Fine. Murphy's on 5th, 6 o'clock. Make it 4 and you pay for your own soda. He laughed weakly. Sure thing. At the shop, Dan waved a clipboard. We got 3 brake jobs and an alternator on the Silverado, he said. He's a big guy with a quiet voice. Good hands. I'll take the alternator, I said. Work centers the brain. I called Marco while pulling the bad alternator off. Victor saw the receipts. I told him he'll handle his end. Good. Marco said, clarity breeds speed. I'll file the temporary orders in the afternoon. Keep your messages clean. Don't engage on emotion, not my hobby. I said. I looked at the old alternator, worn brushes, lousy regulator. Send me the checklist for property access. At 4 o'clock, I walked into Murphy's. The place smelled like fryer oil and lemon cleaner. The bartender looked like he'd seen 1,000 arguments and wanted none more. Chase sat in a corner booth. Nice jacket, a watch that shouted. He tried to stand, then thought better of it. Ethan, he said, manto man. Let's save the fake brotherhood. I cut him off, sliding into the booth. You called me last night about a misunderstanding. Now you understand. We're just friends, he said. You're a manager who sells attention. She's a partner who buys it. I'm a guy who's done paying. I pulled an envelope and placed it on the table. A copy of the email to his office. The highlighted charges. From here on, if she wants your VIP, she uses her card. Not mine, not corporate, not anything with my name. He leaned on his elbows. You're taking this pretty far. I'm taking it exactly as far as her sentence told me to. I said, also, until the separation is final, I advise you to keep distance. No problem if you ignore that. Life will just be more complicated for you than it needs to be. So, you're threatening. I'm predicting. I pointed at the envelope. You make your money being the guy who says yes. Here's a no. Learn the shape of it. He stared at me long enough to realize I wouldn't blink. Noted. He said finally. I'll adjust. Smart. Tell your door staff the same thing in writing. The next decline charge shouldn't result in phone calls to me. It should result in a check. Understood. Great. I said, standing. And Chase. Good luck. She's expensive. On my way out, my phone buzzed again. Marco, orders filed. Expect a courier for signatures before evening. I stepped into the winter sun and for the first time in months, my chest felt light. Kilturn wasn't her night out. It was me finally taking her words literally and meaning it. At 6, Leia pinged my door cam with a friend from her firm, Hannah, the junior who always looked at me like I was the help. I let them in remotely. Dan on my couch with a pizza and a tool catalog acted as the witness. I stayed in the garage bolting the new alternator on the Ford. I heard drawers slide, hangers clack, whispers. As they left, Hannah peeked into the garage. Are you really doing this? She asked, arms folded in a way she probably practiced in litigation. Already did, I said, tightening a bolt. Be careful carrying those dresses. Salt on the steps. Leia hovered behind her. Ethan, can we talk 10 minutes? Tomorrow morning, I said. Public place. I don't do backroom deals. She glanced at Dan, then at the door cam, then back to me. Fine. Market Street 9. Text me the cafe, I said, and turned back to work. She hates when I don't give her a headline. I showed up at the coffee place early, took the corner table, and watched the city walk by with red noses and caffeine. Leia arrived in a camel coat, no makeup, a presentation of vulnerability. She set her phone face down. I shouldn't have said that, she started, smoothing the napkin. The line about divorce. It was cruel. Accurate though, I answered. You gave an instruction. I followed it. It wasn't an instruction, she said. It was frustration. I've been alone in this marriage for a long time. Ethan, you were alone at night in a velvet rope club, I replied. There's a difference. You live in that garage, she pushed. You talk to carburetors more than to me. I talk to things that don't lie to me, I said, and let it sit. The barista called out orders. Someone laughed too loudly near the door. Get to the ask. She exhaled. I want to try. No more Amber. No more anything that makes you feel disrespected. We can do therapy. We can reset. You want to keep your narrative and your comforts. I said, here are my terms. No more club. Your money separate. Our house becomes my house until we figure out assets by the book and we stop pretending this is a pause. It's a stop. She stared. So that's a note to therapy. I won't sit in a room to perform remorse while you plan optics. I said, we're past theater. That's not fair. She said, fair is paying your own tab. I said, fair is not writing. He won't notice about your husband. That was a joke. Then I don't get jokes, I said. Because it read like a mission brief. She looked down. I miss us. You miss status that comes with us, I answered. If you actually missed me, you wouldn't recruit a club to fill the space. She changed tactics quick. I'll step back at the firm for a while. Fewer nights. That's between you and Victor. Silence hung a beat. She picked up her phone and flipped it, then thought better and placed it face down again. Give me a week, she said finally. No club. I'll move back to the guest room. We'll try. You can have a week to move your clothes into storage. I said, I'm not dragging this. You're punishing me. I'm protecting me, I said. And I'm doing it politely. Her jaw set. You're making a mistake. If my mistake is insisting on respect, I can live with it. I said, we're done here. She put a hand out like she could rearrange the air. Ethan, I already filed. I cut. There's no return ticket. We left the cafe without touching. She turned east. I turned west. That afternoon, she tried the next lever. A long message full of softness. I'm thinking clearly now. I get how I hurt you. I'll skip every night event this month. I booked a consult with a counselor for us at 6 o'clock on Thursday. Can you come? There were heart emojis in the invite name like we were freshmen. I replied, I won't. Handle yourself. I'll handle me. At dusk, Vivian called. Is it true? Her voice could chill soup. Yes. You're ruining her career. She's doing that. I said I warned Victor. He'll protect the firm. Your daughter can protect herself. This is why she needed friends. Because you're rigid, Vivian snapped. This is why I left the door unlocked for you for 15 years, I said. And locked it today. You've always been small, she shot back. Maybe, but I pay for what I use, I said and hung up. You don't win with Vivian. You just stopped subsidizing the conversation. 2 days later, I was under a pickup when my phone pinged nonstop. My cousin sent a link. Leia had posted a long I'm telling my side on social media. Filtered photo, earnest caption about seeking support, about a husband who polices her spending and isolates her with rules. She didn't name me, of course. But Milwaukee's not that big. The comments flooded with the usual, you go, girl. Stay strong. She tagged the coffee shop like it was a campaign stop. I put the phone face down on the fender. Dan slid out from the next bay, grease on his forearms. You going to say something? He asked. No, I said, wiping a wrench. I'm going to let the post hang on its own rope. You're colder than you look, Dan said half proud. I'm tired of paying for illusions, I answered. Cold is cheaper. That evening, Victor called. Ethan, I wanted you to hear from me, he said. We've initiated an internal review of partner conduct. Leia is on leave. I didn't ask for that, I said. You didn't. I'm doing my job. He paused. She won't see this as mercy. Mercy is not my department, I replied. The following morning, Leia showed up at my shop. She never came there unless she needed a spare key. She glanced around at the bays, at customers in the waiting area, at the coffee machine that never worked quite right. She picked the moment. The shop was full. Witnesses stage lighting. We need to talk privately, she said, stepping toward the office. We can talk here, I answered, loud enough for Dan to hear, but quiet enough for courtesy. She lowered her voice. You told Victor. He suspended me. I told Victor the truth, I said. He made his decision. You ruined my standing, she said, eyes glossy but dry. You traded it for compliments, I said. Don't bill me. A man in a Packers jacket cleared his throat in the waiting chairs. Leia straightened, then switched to velvet. Ethan, I love you, she said, hand on her heart. Please, let's do the consultation. I'll sell the BMW if that helps the budget. I'll do anything to fix this. Second illusion, full force, a sweeping offer, currency of feelings, and big gestures. I wanted to believe it for a half second. Then I remembered reading. He won't notice. You don't need to sell anything, I replied. You need to respect the person who paid while you played. Therapy won't teach that. Losing comfort might. You're cruel, she whispered. I'm consistent, I said. You said divorce me. I said, okay. She stepped closer, almost touching, then thought better of it. What do you want me to do? Hand me your spare keys, I said, and stopped coming here without a reason that can be written in one sentence. She stared like I'd asked her to translate a manual. Then she dug into her bag, pulled out the key ring, and dropped it into my palm. Metal on skin, simple as a door closing. Happy, she asked. No, I said. Just done. She walked out past the counter, chin up. The man in the jacket watched her leave. Then looked at me. Rough, he said quietly. Necessary, I answered and called the next ticket. Late that night, I got a text from Hannah of all people. "Ethan, please call me. It's about the firm." I dialed. She sounded nervous. "Victor asked me to help with files while Leia is out," she said. "I found a string of reimbursements labeled client hospitality that look personal. I didn't want you blindsided." "Thank you," I said. "I'm not blindsided by much anymore." "She's saying you're overreacting," Hannah said. I reacted. I replied. Big difference. The next morning, Marco's courier arrived with the papers for signatures, temporary support calculation, property access, vehicles separate. I signed in my office. The smell of rubber and solvent of better cologne than I'd worn for our wedding. I sent a polite note to Leia. "Courier will deliver documents at noon. Please have identification ready." No need to respond. She responded anyway. "You want to humiliate me? You could have kept this between us. You made it public when you tagged a latte," I wrote back. Noon. At 11, Vivian appeared at my garage entrance like a frost warning. "You're destroying a family," she said without hello. "We're two adults without children," I said. "We're dividing property." "You could forgive," she said. "I did for years," I replied. "Forgiveness without boundaries is subsidy." "You always were a mechanic from the West Side," she said like it was a diagnosis. "And you always needed an audience," I said, turning away to torque a bolt. She left with her heels clacking, a retreat that sounded like applause to me. At noon, the courier texted me, "Documents signed." She looked tired. I imagine she did. The afternoon brought quiet. No posts, no calls, no theatrics. The silence was almost loud. Then at 6, Chase sent a one-line text. "We're good. Consider it handled." I didn't answer. He wasn't my problem. By the week's end, word spread the way word spreads in this city. Customers asked questions with their eyes. Neighbors waved longer than usual. I didn't offer a narrative. I offered brake pads. The final meeting came on a Sunday afternoon. She asked to pick up the last of her boxes and jewelry. I told her to come at 3 o'clock. And that Den would be there. I didn't avoid her. I just didn't let her stage anything. She arrived in a hoodie and jeans, hair tied back, no pretense. She walked through rooms we'd furnished together with a calculator and a sense of humor 10 years ago. She took the framed degrees, left the wedding album. She paused in the doorway of the garage where the Ford finally started to look like a car again. "You always love that stupid truck," she said. "It's a Ford," I corrected. "And I love the work." "You loved us once," she said, half statement, half audition. "I loved what I thought we were building," I said, handing her a plastic bin. "Then I learned I was building by myself." She leaned against the door frame. "I want to say sorry and have it matter." "It matters," I said. "It doesn't change the outcome." Her eyes dropped to my hands. "You're really not going to give me a chance?" "You had 15 years of them," I said. "You used the last one to book a VIP table," she flinched. "Not much, just enough to register truth-hitting bone." "Is there anything I can say?" "Just one thing," I answered. "Say goodbye like an adult." She stood up straight. "Goodbye, Ethan." I nodded. "Goodbye, Leia." She shouldered the last box, walked through the kitchen, and set her keys on the island without being asked. She lingered one last look for an opening that wasn't there. When she stepped out, I followed to the porch. She turned at the bottom of the steps. "You'll regret this," she said. A final card slid across a dead table. "You said, divorce me," I told her. "I'm just following your instruction. Papers are filed. From here on, we live separate." Her face flickered. Anger, pride, a quick run through the playbook. It found no page left and closed. She got into her car and drove off without a look back. I locked the door behind her and went to my garage. I tightened a hose, wiped the fender, and let the quiet be the point. Epilogue is simple. I sold the house we bought when we thought bigger meant better and bought a clean 3-bedroom closer to the shop with a fenced yard and a maple tree that already knows how to be a tree. I traded the family SUV for a used Tacoma with a bedliner that laughs at winter. The Ford in my garage runs now. It took months, but it runs and the sound is honest. Business picked up. Word gets around when a man draws lines and doesn't wobble. Men bring in their trucks and tell me things they don't say at home. Women bring in their cars and ask for the facts without fluff. Dan got a raise and a new set of tools on my tab because loyalty should be the thing that cost you money. There's a woman I see sometimes, Nora, a project manager from a parts supplier. We get tacos after late deliveries. She listens like an adult and laughs like one, too. No promises. I like that about it, Leia. I hear pieces. She moved into a modern apartment with a view she can't quite afford without her old partner Draw. Her mother stopped posting photos with her for a while. Victor kept it clinical. Partners always do. Chase. I never saw him again. The club sent a winter promotion to my business email once. I marked it spam. People ask if I miss being married. I tell them I miss being respected. You can miss a lawn and still be glad you don't mow it. I didn't win anything. I didn't need to. I kept what mattered. My name, my cash flow, my rules. There's a kind of peace when you stop explaining yourself to someone who benefits from misunderstanding you. It looks like a man in a garage tightening a bolt and not thinking who's watching. And if a stranger ever tells you, if you don't like it, divorce me. Take them at their word. Some instructions don't require a second reading. Our story has come to an end. How about subscribing to our channel? It helps us immensely.